everybody, wanted to do a Should You Read on Stephen King's It. Man, what a cool story. I was really excited. It took me back to my childhood, running and playing and riding bikes and fishing on golf courses down in Florida. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. As an adult, wasn't as scared. I guess it could have been one of those situations where you look at it and you go, yeah, this should be pretty scary. For me, it didn't really hit all the scary notes. I understood that when the boys were being afraid, it would be very, very scary at their age, and I understood it. And it would even be scary as an adult in person. I watched the trailer for the movies that have come out, and they look pretty scary. So with it, and any book that you really have a great run, mini production runs, you get great covers. So I'm going to put a poll up, and I want you guys to vote on the poll on what you think the best It cover is. And let me know, because I love doing polls. I'm going to try to do a bunch of them as I go along, but really wanted to add that to this video. I think it'd be really, really neat. So let me know, favorite It cover. It was really interesting to see how the story developed, really the bond of friendship that you saw grow. It's amazing to see how children can become friends in a matter of minutes, where adults aren't wired that way. The difference in the way that a childhood, really, it brought back such great memories of my childhood. You always find yourself with a great story when you ponder your life as you're reading a story. And as you sit there and you go, man, this is what for me was important. This is what for me was interesting. The way King wrote it was definitely a retrospective on what have I done with my life? Where have I gone? What purposes have I accomplished? What things am I trying to do? What future am I planning for myself? What future am I working towards? And that was really interesting. Also, how, in dealing with grief on a certain character's side of it, how do you treat your child if something horrible happens in your family? How do you deal with all these different situations and emotions? For the most part, some of the most interesting situations in the whole book is the interactions with family. One of the characters, Mike's dad, is one of my favorite characters in the whole book. It's really, really cool to see that a character you see very little is probably even one of my, if not top favorite character, one of the best 3 characters I like in the book. It gives you an interesting perspective when you look through all these different eyeballs. The tiniest of spoilers here. So the kids grow up and they forget. And then as the story progresses, they gradually gain their memories back. And we are told the story through these memories. As the boys and girl are remembering, they then go through, and as they're uncovering their memories, they all remember together. And the memory that was more important to a certain character is their story. So Ben, one of the characters, he is really thrust in. He's being bullied, and really that's when the group starts to form. Bill is the big main character, probably the leader of the group, and he already kind of knows Richie and Eddie. And then Ben comes to the group. And then Stan is also a guy that, kind of joins the group. And so it's more of the coming together of this group that really was so important for me and so interesting. And Pennywise the clown, the thought of this creature is scary, because it's not, initially when I saw the miniseries with Tim Curry in it, dude, Tim Curry is the best. I actually had a conversation with my wife about the best devil ever portrayed in film, and Tim Curry's devil in Legend is magnificent. The giant horns and the way he spoke and how he moved with his mouth. I'm not doing it right, but it was fantastic. I remember watching Legend. I didn't even know it was Tom Cruise until I was an adult. That wasn't what was important to me. He was a great. This is a side tangent in Legend, but I'm telling you about Legend. If you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. It is marvelous. Um, but okay, so Tim Curry also played It. He played Pennywise the Clown. And so I saw the miniseries when I was a kid, and I don't really remember anything about it. I remember I remember an initial point with Stan as he's an adult. I barely remember anything from the kids part of it. I do remember something with the standpipe, and I do remember a couple little other parts. But for the most part, I went back into the book going, I know that these kids are terrorized by a clown, and I know that they grow up. That's really what I knew. And I remember the standpipe because I remember thinking how scary it would be to fall in. And that was one of the things I had from the miniseries. Is one of those where it's like, it's not that deep of water, but it's deep enough that you're in the water and you're drowning, and you're like you can see where you need to be. You can see here's the exit. I know where my exit is. I know where I should be, and then you can't get there. And for me, it was like I always that like water towers from that point on for me was like a I ain't going near 'em. I'm gonna tell everybody in the world to stay away from water towers because and that's what stood out for me for the miniseries. So I want to go back and I want to rewatch the miniseries after reading the book. I heard it was pretty good, and then I really want to check out the movies, even though I do not like being scared. I'm not a fan of woo, but I enjoyed the book enough that I really want to see it done well in a medium that makes sense, and I should be scared. I should feel that fear, and I don't know if it was the amount of time it took to read the scary scenes that maybe it just didn't grab my sense of fear. But I mean, I still had moments where I was reading and listening to it on audiobook. That's why I didn't have a book to show you, because I was listening to an audiobook and I put the book back in the library. There were moments when I was on call and getting home at 2, 3 in the morning, walking up to my front porch, and I was going, let me put the key in here a little bit faster. And so there are moments where, yeah, I did have that level of fear, but as a grown up, really the scary part of it is the loss of children, the loss of the innocence of those children, and then it was enjoyable to remember growing up, and it made me sad for my children as they grow up, because even in the 50s they were raised a completely different way. Like said, hey kids, go do what you want to do. Even in the late 80s, early 90s, when I grew up, we got up in the morning, we had a bowl of cereal, and we came back at dinner time. Like, my mom and dad didn't know where we were. They had no idea what was going on. And we would come home, sometimes they'd see us playing out there was a big field where we'd play baseball and football, and then we'd go run across the 4-lane highway and go fishing in a golf course. Or we'd go down, there was a lake, and I got in trouble stealing a paddle boat out of there one time. Cops took me home. So it was like really amazing to just feel growing up, and to capture that in a book. I was excited. I was really excited to just remember growing up, and remember being a brother. I've got a little brother. So when Bill really missed his brother, when Bill felt that love for his brother, I was there. I felt it. I was like, man, I love my brother. And I've got a baby brother who's 13 years younger than me, who's a Marine now. And I love him a lot too. But I remember me and my brother were 18 months apart, and we did everything together. We ran, we jumped, we climbed trees, we did all this stuff. And it was so great to just feel that again. So I'm going to do spoilers all over. I'm going to link it when I get it done. And I'm really going to dig into it. It's probably going to be a long video. I really want to examine the book. Probably going to have to read it again, because when I got to the ending, and I want to talk about it. I may even do a whole video on just talking about the ending of it, and it'll be spoiler filled as well. And I absorbed 11 hours of the book in such a short amount of time that I really want to dig back into the ending. I really want to get the meat off those bones. So that'll be what I do next. I don't know if you can see it. I'm probably going to do either Leviathan Wakes or Promise of Blood next. Pick both of those up. I've heard they're both fantastic. I've watched the first 2 episodes of The Expanse, and let me know in the comments down below if I should watch the rest of the show first or read the book first. So dog wants to get let in. I'm going to say bye to you guys. You guys have a great day. Bye.